And here's one that Jen requested, which is Salamangreat. This is uh, definitely a budget list. Um, I am not running Signet Mining, Fantastical Dragon Phantasme, or Infinite Impermanence in this list. The most expensive cards here are probably the Solemn Judgment, the Solemn Strike, and probably Mind Control. Uh, Maybe Abyss Dweller. I haven't checked that price in a while. The last time I checked, it was a few dollars. Uh, I think Flame Buffalo was maybe $2 last time I checked. The latest ban list really hit this deck hard. It did just have, I believe it was a top 4 or top 8 at YCS Portland yesterday or this past weekend. But again, that deck was most likely running all those expensive cards that I mentioned. Signet Mining lets you discard a card to search for to add a cyber sponsor from deck to hand. Phantasme lets you special summon him when your opponent link summons a monster to, and then it helps fix your hand by drawing cards and shuffling stuff back in. And Impermanence is trapped version of Effect Veiler, except you can use it anytime. Just to simplify it. But anyway, so the deck list I put together here is 2 Jack Jaguar. He has an effect that he does piercing when he attacks. It doesn't come up too often, but it can come up. 3 Foul. Whenever you succeed in normal or special summoning a different Salamangreat monster, you can special summon him from your hand. So then you get 2. Then you end up with 2 Salamangreats instead of just the 1. You can also send a Salamangreat card from your hand or face up from your field to the graveyard to target a set card in your opponent's field and say, you can't activate that this turn. The One Lady Debug lets you add a level 3 or lower cyber monster from the deck to the hand. 1 Falco, a level 4 Salamangreat that lets you set a Salamangreat spell or trap directly from the graveyard if he's sent to the graveyard. Also lets you special summon him by bouncing another monster from your field to your hand. Gazelle. 1 Gazelle, which is one of the probably the biggest hit to the deck from the ban list. Gazelle is your main play starter. Whenever it summons normal or special, you can send a Salamangreat spell or trap from the deck to the graveyard. Or no, just a Salamangreat card from the deck to the graveyard. Sorry. And if a Salamangreat card is sent to your graveyard, you can special summon Gazelle to your field. You have 3 Flame Buffalo, just a level 3 Fire Cybers type. If he leaves the field, you can discard a Cybers monster to draw 2 cards. 3 Backup Secretary. If you control another Cybers, you can special summon her. She's a free level 3. 3 Spinny. If you control a Salamangreat, you can discard him, and then you can use his effect to bring him back from the graveyard for a free level 3 on the field. Just keep in mind that if he leaves the field after using the revival effect for anything outside of an Xyz detach, he gets banished. 3 Foxy lets you look at the top 3 cards of your deck and add a Salamangreat card to your hand. Also, if you have a face-up spell or trap, or if there is a face-up spell or trap card in the field, you can special summon him from the graveyard and then destroy a face-up spell or trap. I threw in 2 Crusadia Reclusia. It's a fire level 3, and he can destroy himself to destroy any card your opponent controls. 3 Ash Blossom. It's fire. It's a good hand trap. It came in the structure deck. No point not running it. 1 Fusion of Fire for Salamangreat Violet Chimera. 3 Mind Control. I don't know how I feel about running this when you want to go first, but it's just a really good card. And I mostly put it in there in place of some of the more expensive stuff. 1 Salamangreat Recurrence. Doesn't usually get run, but again, budget. This card, I think it's like $1, last I checked. You can grab 2 of your Salamangreats from the graveyard and add them to your hand. You can't use them this turn, but you would still have them for the next turn, which is really what you're trying to get to. This deck isn't really trying to OTK. You're trying to control the game state and whittle your opponent down. Salamangreat Circle gives you a Salamangreat monster from your deck to your hand, and also you can target a Salamangreat Link monster that was Reincarnation Link summoned and make it unaffected by other monster effects this turn. Will of the Salamangreat lets you special summon a Salamangreat from your hand or graveyard, or you can send it from the field to the graveyard, target a Link monster you control that was Reincarnation Link summoned, and special summon Salamangreats from the hand or graveyard up to that monster's Link rating. So say you send Will from the field to the graveyard, target Heat Leo. You can then special summon up to 3 Salamangreats, which can then be used for Link summons, XD summons, whatever you need. Salamangreat Sanctuary is what allows you to Reincarnation Link summon. You only really need 1, and just hope that your opponent doesn't destroy it. You search it off of Bay Links, so you don't have to worry about drawing it. You really don't want to draw it. 1 Salamangreat Rage helps you destroy your opponent's cards by targeting. You can either target a Salamangreat Link monster you control and destroy up to the amount of cards that monster's Link rating has, or send a Salamangreat monster from the hand or field to the graveyard to destroy 1 card. 1 Solemn Strike, pay 1,500 to negate a special summon or monster effect. And 3 Solemn Judgment, negate everything by paying half your life points. Sounds steep, but it is really strong. This card just came back to 3. And 2 Roar. This is another negate everything as long as you control a Salamangreat Link monster, and it can also reset itself once. The extra deck, pretty basic. There are a few higher priced cards that you could swap some of these for, but Salamangreat extra decks are really tight for space. The 1 Violet Chimera, or if you have the chance for the OTK, an Abyss Dweller, which really helps with the mirror match. If you can get 2 level 4s on the field to XCs into this, you detach one of the materials, and then no graveyard effects can be activated by your opponent until the end of the turn. So you would special summon this, pass turn to your opponent during their standby phase, detach, and then, especially if they're running something like Salamangreat or Orcust, there's probably not much they can do that turn. Mirage Stalio, usually run 1, but I figure budget doesn't hurt to run 2. You just need 2 level 3 monsters. They don't even have to be Salamangreat or Cyberse or Fire. However, using his detach effect does lock you into fire effects for the rest of the turn. But detaching a monster from him lets you special summon a monster from the deck. Which, assuming you didn't draw into it, is usually Jack Jaguar, since Jack Jaguar has another effect that I forgot to go over, which is huge for the combo, which is if he's in the graveyard, you shuffle a Salamangreat monster from the graveyard back into the deck, usually targeting one of your Link monsters to put it back into the extra deck, to special summon him to a zone that a Link monster points to. 2 Heat Leo. We are not Soul Burner, we are not running Heat Leo Turbo, so we're just running 2. His effects are good. If he's Link summoned, you can shuffle a spell or trap card from your opponent's field back into the deck. And if he's Reincarnation Link summoned, you can target a monster in your graveyard, target one of your opponent's monsters, and make your opponent's monster have that attack of the monster that you targeted in your graveyard. So something like a Baelynx, you can make your opponent's monster have 500 attack. These 2 cards go together. So Update Jammer requires 2 level 2 or higher Cyberse. He has another effect, but the big one for this deck is if you use him as Link material, the monster that he's used to Link summon can attack twice. So usually what you do is bring him out, bring out Transcode Talker, using Update Jammer. Transcode Talker, if he's co-linked, him and any co-linked monsters gain 500 attack, and makes anything that's co-linked to him and himself untargetable by card effects from your opponent. So how you would link, he also has the effect of special summoning a Link 3 or lower Cyberse Link monster from the graveyard to an arrow that he points to. So what you can do is bring out Update Jammer, use Update Jammer and another monster to bring out Transcode Talker, use Transcode Talker to revive Update Jammer to a Link arrow he's pointing to. Or really, it could be Heat Leo. It would still be co-linked. They would both gain 500 attack. Transcode Talker can attack twice. So as long as your opponent has a pretty basic board, you can put out over 8,000 life points of damage in one turn there. Hida is good for the mirror, or even if you're playing somebody that's running something like Ash Blossom. It requires 2 monsters, including a fire, and when it's Link summoned, you can target a fire monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon it to a zone that Hida points to. So you usually want to put Hida into the extra monster zone. Otherwise, her effect is useless. 3 Sunlight Wolf. He's your unofficial, I don't want to say boss monster because he's not strong. Maybe more like a deck master. Like you almost always want to end with him on the board. So when he's on the field, if a monster is normal or special summoned to either arrow that he points to, so whether you summon something there or your opponent special summons something there, you can add a fire monster from the graveyard back to the hand. You just can't normal or special summon monsters with that name for the rest of the turn. If he's Reincarnation Link summoned, he lets you add a Salamangreat spell or trap from the graveyard to your hand for free. So whatever you dump with Gazelle, you would usually add back with Sunlight Wolf. Baelynx lets you search Sanctuary and also protects your Salamangreats once per turn from being destroyed by battle or card effect by banishing a spell from the graveyard. You run 3 Baelynx and 3 Sunlight Wolf because they are your most important extra deck monsters. Alright, so I'm going to choose to go first. Okay, still not terrible. Actually, yeah. So we have Circle. So Circle is going to let us add Gazelle. I just have to hurry up a little bit here. Going to normal summon Spinny. Special summon the backup secretary. We use Spinny to go into Phalanx, Phalanx's effect, and Gazelle's effect, since a Salamangreat left the field. Add Sanctuary. And Gazelle's effect. We don't have the negation this time. So we'll grab Dump Roar. Now, we can go into our Mirage Stalio. Activate his effect to detach Gazelle, because we'll want to get that back. Again, going into Sunlight Wolf. Where to go from here? Alright, so we'll activate Jack Jaguar to shuffle back the Phalanx. Use Sunlight Wolf's effect to get our Gazelle back. We'll use these two for another Sunlight Wolf. We'll use Sunlight Wolf to add our Roar back to our hand. And that is not a very good board, but that is pretty typical. It's usually Sunlight Wolf paired with Stalio. Usually with more than one set back row, but that's fine. Let's try another one. Okay, so we'll start off with Circle. We'll add Gazelle. Normal Central Chat, which lets us special summon the backup secretary. We'll use Jack to go into Phalanx. Since he's a level 4 lower Cybers. Since a Cybers went to the graveyard, we'll special summon Gazelle. And we'll use Gazelle's effect. We already have a negate. So we'll send Rage to get the non-targeting destructions. We'll save him. So, going to Mirage Stalio. Attach the Gazelle to bring out. We already have a Jack in the graveyard, so we'll go with Falco. Use these two for Sunlight Wolf. Make Jack Jaguar, shuffle back the Stalio, and then use Sunlight Wolf, add back Gazelle. We can activate Sanctuary here. And use Sunlight Wolf as a single link material. Add back Rage. And now, since we have 2 level 4s, we can actually end on Abyss Dweller, a set Solemn Judgment, a set Salamangreat Rage, and that's not too shabby. So you have negate anything, destroy up to two cards your opponent controls, which is non-targeting, which does come into play. and an Abyss Dweller, which shuts down your opponent's graveyard monster effects. Or graveyard card effects, sorry. But yeah, so that's basically how the deck works. It's fairly linear on what it wants to end on. It's usually just how you get there, especially with all the cards being limited and just like what your opponent might have in terms of hand traps. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask. But thanks for watching.